At the NASDAQ chart. It's been a few days. The last video I dropped was from 5 days ago. So we're back at the markets. Not much has really changed. As you see, the weekly candle, we're still in the same range. Nothing too crazy. But price has still been respecting the structure. It's been respecting these levels. Right? We haven't really closed beneath these previous all-time highs here. 20,800. Still standing on business. Still holding this level. Structure's playing out nicely. Wyckoff is playing out nicely. No complaints on this end. Super solid. I know last week we had another drop in the markets. We actually came to these previous daily highs, and once price reached that liquidity, instead of breaking above, we just swept these highs and then sold off pretty significantly, over 400, 500 points, and then this week market just respected the same structure from last week. If you've been plugged into the chats, if you've been plugged into the community, these are some of the trades that we've been taking last week, that granted most people, over 800 points. 800 points. So when the market opened up, we actually came right back to the same buys that we took on Wednesday. So it's very important to leave the markups on your chart, or be aware of the trades that you take in the past, because more times than not, the market will come right back down to the same buy zones that we had before. Right? This was a buy zone that we took as a group on New York session at 6 a.m. As you can see here at the bottom of the screen, 6 a.m., 7 a.m. These were the buys that were called out for the squad, and this was last Wednesday. And when the market opened up this past Sunday, it came right back to the same exact buy zone. Same exact buy zone, no drawdown. And price flew over 300 points. And if you're still holding these positions, you're up over 250 points. Right? So it's always important to, annotate where you have taken trades. Because like I said, it's very common for price to be very volatile and come back to previous zones that we've capitalized on. So most of the students who hop on the morning sessions, we're going to have another one tomorrow morning, 6:25 a.m. But it's very clean how price opened up on Sunday, right after the Super Bowl, or right before it. It came right back to the same area here that we were buying off of last Wednesday. Right? Super clean. All you have to do is set up your buy limits. Right? I had some alerts set at this area as well. I was looking at, I believe this was a 4-hour structure. Right? We had broken structure to the upside here on the 4-hour time frame. Very clean break of structure. And anytime we break structure, that indicates that the accumulation has now been completed. And automatically, since we broke structure here, the lows that are protected would be the lowest area before we broke structure. So this whole area was demand. This whole area was accumulation. This whole area is where, smart money comes in and they're buying. Right? This whole area. So when the market opened up, came right back to the zone, retested the broken structure, didn't break beneath previous lows, and then price continued to rally in our favor. And as you can see now, price is actually breaking more structure to the upside. We broke more structure here on the 4-hour, full body candle to the upside above these previous highs, indicating that price wants to go higher. As long as price keeps making higher highs and higher lows and breaking structure to the upside, that's more reason to believe that price is bullish, because in a bullish environment, you are creating higher highs and higher lows, right? Super basic. And as we see here, price is respecting this area. I know we have some other discount buyers. People would like to come in and they draw the Fibonacci from these lows to the highs. And if you want the discount buys, maybe you want to, maybe you believe price wants to go lower. These are the discount buys, right? 50% and below. Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. I'm going to have to mute homie here real quick. Mr. Ramiro, are you, Mr. Ramiro 283. I need you to mute yourself, brother. Appreciate ya. So, no worries, no worries. So, when you come in here, if you want those discount buys, it the 50% also overlaps with previous structure that we broke before as well. So super clean with that. As of right now, we have some major news coming tomorrow. We have FOMC as well. We got the market mover, right? We got the man of many words. He says a few things and then price goes crazy. Tuesday, February 11th, Federal Chairman Powell testifies, right? Boom, 7 a.m. Pacific time, red folder news. And then that's going to introduce some more volatility into the markets. So you might see some more action. One thing I do know is the news is an excuse for price to bounce off of your monthly, weekly, and daily levels. Right? I don't like to focus too much on the news because the news, it just, all it does is adds volatility. If you understand the monthly, weekly, and daily structure, you shouldn't be worried about the news because all it's going to do is bounce off of those higher time frame levels, the daily, weekly, and monthly. So as long as you understand that structure, you should be good. You should be good. And looking here at the monthly, just for some reference, again, these are the November highs. We broke above the November highs back in January. We closed full body candle, and this month we're looking great. So this is technically a nice area where price has been respecting 21,230. This is essentially like a floor for price to not really go below or close beneath. As we see, we've been holding in this area right in here recently, and before that we were holding the previous all-time highs right in here. Price has been here for a while. It's not been moving too much. Yes, it's been moving a few hundred pips up and down, but technically it's still stuck in this range. Meanwhile, gold is making new all-time highs every 5 minutes for now. But price looks good. Nas looks very bullish. If price does want to sell off again, maybe tomorrow with the volatility, this is a prime area where price could come and retest. This is just more structure being retested. If it comes back in here, I would love to see some type of accumulation or liquidity build up. And then we sweep the liquidity, break above, indicating that this whole area is confirmed for buys, and then boom, retest, go. We'll be looking for that. Stay tuned. Or if it happens in between London session and tomorrow, it may happen overnight. We don't know. But if you're plugged into the chats, you're probably still holding these buys. You're most likely still holding the buys. You're still most likely diamond handsing these trades. So looking real good. Going to US 30 as well. Let's go to the monthly real quick. Let's break this down. As we see here, we have some highs from October 1st that we broke above. Broke above these highs. We have been respecting the structure for a minute. Super clean, super solid. Let's go down to the weekly. Let's make sure this is visible on all time frames as well. Boom. Go down to the weekly. You have a closer look right in there. Okay. I'm not going to extend it too far, just enough so you know that we broke above these highs. Right there should be good. Boom. And as we see here, I'm on the weekly time frame. Now I am looking at this structure here. Are we breaking structure to the upside or to the downside? Right here. Let me know in the chat. What's happening right here with current price action? Are we making higher highs and higher lows, or are we making lower lows and lower highs? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Drop a 1 if you're making higher highs and higher lows. Drop a 2 if you think we're making lower highs and lower lows. Let me see who's been studying. Who's plugged in? Looks like no one is plugged in. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 7 people that are tuning in and no one's able to answer the question. That means you have 7 people who are on this call who are not even listening. They probably cut on the stream and just walked away. It's all good. It's all good. But this is making higher highs. We are breaking structure to the upside, right? Very clear, a break of structure right there, right? Very clear, another break of structure right there. That is an uptrend. All right, we haven't broken this structure. The structure has not been broken. All we have done is swept liquidity, right? We have swept previous highs back here. Nice liquidity sweep. And then price sells off. So this is still looking pretty good. Still looking pretty good. Boom. If you want the discount buys, again, it'll be anything below here. But that's if price even wants to go down there. Just because you have a Fibonacci drawn on your screen doesn't mean it has to go to the levels. Wasn't sure if you were talking about the overall or recent candles. I mean, overall is always going to be bullish for US 30. This is a bullish market. I'm talking about, I said, what is happening right here. I highlighted it and specifically said what's happening right here in this section. Are we breaking structure to the upside or are we breaking structure to the downside? Let me know. Let me know. We have Alexis on the call. We have Brandon Ramiro, who came in unmuted, doesn't want to answer any questions now. We have Marcus Watts, not sure if you're listening. And we have Yusuf. Upside. Upside.
Broke structure to the upside.
Oh, okay. Bad. I want to make sure y'all are listening. If we're not.
That re-entry right there, the one right there.
This one?
Yes, sir.
One of these, yeah, any one of these would suffice. Right, if price even wants to come this low, I do know that anytime price sweeps previous lows, that's a sign that price can easily reverse. So if we swept these previous weekly lows, maybe retapped into the structure, which would then fill this imbalance here, this was a nasty entry. This would be a nasty, very low drawdown entry. If price came back down here, it would probably wick ridiculously quick and fly, right? And if it came lower, that's perfectly fine. We have another area of liquidity down here. Price can easily sweep these lows as well. Sweep these lows, maybe retest this structure, which would then as well fill the imbalance, right? So these are two areas where price could easily react from. Let's go to the daily, see how that looks on the daily. Right. And again, that's if we want to go that low. We don't know how low price wants to go. That's, over 600 points to the downside. I know these pairs don't move that much in a day on average. I know US 30 moves probably like 300 to 400 in a day on average. If you look at these daily candles and measure the movement, sometimes it can move that much. This one is 800. The one after was 500. This one was 300. So it all depends. It all depends. Going to the 4 hour as well. This is the main structure I've been looking at this whole time. Just take all this off so it's not like overbearing. All right, take this off as well. I was looking here more recently because we have been respecting this, right? We have structure here, higher high, higher low, and then we broke the structure, right? And we are essentially making an uptrend right here. And each time we broke structure, we're breaking structure. We're breaking structure. And even now here, this is all accumulation right now. That's a huge accumulation schematic on the 4 hour time frame. Didn't quite get back down there. Do we sweep these lows? Yep. We even swept these lows when the market opened at the beginning of the week. Came right into this area. Like I said before, this is when price sweeps lows. It's a high chance price can reverse, especially on the higher time frames. So you have liquidity being swept, and you have structure that can possibly be retested, and you have imbalance. That's insane buying pressure. That's insane liquidity. That's why price immediately reversed. And you can even see here on the 4 hour that we broke structure right here to the upside. We also broke structure up here to the upside. So current price action is giving bullishness. I know the sellers would argue, oh, we have imbalance here, right? Price can reverse and sell off. We have some distribution up here. But again, we are in a very bullish environment. We are overall uptrending. So I'm not going to really go too deep into the sells. You could even argue maybe all this is liquidity for you. Maybe all this wants to get clapped. If you draw the fib from these lows to the highs, some would say, oh, I want to catch some lower entries down in here. I want to catch something in here. Like, we don't know how low price wants to go, but if we start seeing breaks of structure to the downside, then something down here would look more probable. But if we're not really breaking structure to the downside currently with current price action, and we are making higher highs and higher lows, and we're breaking structure, then that lets me know that maybe it doesn't want to come down just yet. Unless we just get one crazy sell-off candle, that full body candle closes, then I'd be like, okay, this is ready to all get clapped and we want to go lower. But in the meantime, until that happens, if that happens, I'm going to focus on what's happening currently. I don't like to make things too complicated or overthink when it comes to trading, because that's exactly what they want you to do. They want you to try to come up with all these formulas and all these things. Would that top area have been a failed higher high? The top area. Let's go back to the 4 hour. Let me see. You talking about up here? Like this whole top? No. It would not be a failed higher high, because this high right here that we created is higher than this high. So this is a higher high. Right? So yeah. Just looking left, that wouldn't affect what's happening currently. Like, for instance, like if you were to draw this out maybe on the line chart and you see something like this, boom, and then we sell off, we get some distribution, drop off, and then we start working our way back up. Boom, higher high, higher low. Just because we haven't broken these highs over here, it doesn't mean that this here is not a higher high. Right? Just because we didn't break above these highs doesn't mean that this is not a higher high. It doesn't mean that this isn't a higher high. It doesn't mean that this isn't a higher high. I see. I guess I was looking at the overall structure. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're looking at the overall structure. I mean, maybe if you go to, like, let's say the highest time frame, like the monthly, where structure is like where it is now. I mean, technically, all this is a higher high. Like, this entire thing is a higher high, right? Because these highs up here, right here, are higher than these highs, right? So this is, you know, anytime you break structure and you make a new high, that's, you know, that's a higher high. So, like, that's a higher high. This is a higher high. This is a high, and this is a higher high. But because we're on a smaller time frame, like the 4 hour, you know, this noise can confuse people, right? But technically, like, all this, we are in higher high territory, right? So that's why here price is respecting the structure pretty nicely. Like, we came back down, like I mentioned earlier, we swept these lows, and then we broke more structure internally right here. Right, this was nasty accumulation. We broke these highs here. You can literally mark up any high you see that we broke above. respected, broke above, and we got the retest multiple times to enter, right? We also broke above these highs and these highs here. So it's looking good. It's looking good. US 30 is more, it's inside of a buy zone more than NAS. It's a little bit lower, so it's more opportunity for upside. I know this morning I actually didn't drop this in the chat, but this was the trade that I took with some other people. We had this liquidity build up, the sweep, break above, and then this was the retest that we were looking at. And then price did respect it right there. So that's the same thing that we look for. We look for the liquidity, the sweep, break above, retest, go. That's essentially what happened right in here. So super clean. Not a crazy move, like 150 points. Super solid. And then let's go to, I believe, SPX. Looking the same way. Yeah, same exact thing. SPX. Super clean structure that we're breaking above. Right there. Full body candle. If you want the lower structure here as well. Boom. So this is a good area to be looking at. If you do want to go lower, that's fine. But I mean, this looks even more bullish than the other two, for sure. All right, super clean. And then Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin is holding on for dear life. It's still very bullish, right? Still very bullish. We broke above these previous highs, making a higher high. Let's go to the weekly. Still very bullish structure here. I know we swept this liquidity, these lows, and what happened? Price reversed. Over literally 20,000 points. 20,000. We swept these lows, right? Tapped into this imbalance and then flew for over damn near 20K. No drawdown. And then price came back to retest, some other lows that we swept as well, maintaining structure. And we have yet to full body candle close beneath any of this. This is also structure here that we broke above right here. Look how well price has been respecting the structure. You can't make this up. This is why I fuck with structure. It's very objective. There's no nuance. It's just very dead ass, and I'm a very dead ass person, and I think that's why I like it so much. It's very factual, and this is extremely clean. So, I mean, these buys here at 93 were solid. If you were able to snipe one of these entries as well, if you were paying attention, kudos to you. But I was mainly doing buy limits here. Yeah, right. Just to have like easy access, structure, retest, super clean. But I definitely wish I would have paid more attention. But it's all good. Super clean. And then gold. Well, Ethereum, same thing. We've been holding this structure as well. Haven't broken below this, so standing on business there. And let me see. I believe gold is the last thing. Gold is just flying. And as we see with gold, we are, breaking more structure to the upside. Leaving behind imbalances, which is fine. We have structure here, broke above. Structure here, broke above. So if gold ever does want to give a pullback, I'll be looking at buy limits at one of these levels, or if we sweep the lows as well. I would always pay attention to what's being swept and then what's being broken on the monthly, weekly, and daily. Look there first, and then go down to the 4 hour, 1 hour, and try to get your refinement, pinpoint it. If you like the super tight stop loss, then yeah. But you first want to find what's happening on the monthly, weekly, daily structure. Mark that up. Once price gets there, then go down to like the smaller time frames. Look for the accumulation, and then continue to take that trade. And if you want to have more success, if you follow the trend, you're way more likely to be successful in the markets overall. You can counter trend trade. I know a lot of people who are very successful as well, but they've been trading for like 4 years plus, and that's after they were profitable trading with the trend consistently, withdrawing and paying themselves and paying their bills or whatever. Then okay, counter trend trade. But until then, it's like let's make at least six figures with the trend, and then go against it after the fact. But so far, I mean, the market is looking clean on all fronts. I know we have FOMC tomorrow with Powell, so let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's see if he tanks the market. Let's see if he talks about some tariffs, or I know he placed some tariffs on something earlier. Let me see in the chat. Yeah, gold is wilding out. Gold is insane. Just in, President Trump officially orders 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum imports from all countries. I'm not sure how that's going to affect gold or Bitcoin or indices, but we shall see. We shall see what happens mañana in the morning, but I'll see you guys on the call. Unless you guys have any questions right now, anything you want me to go over, I can stay on for a few more minutes. Didn't do much. Oh, okay. Yeah. Didn't do much. That was announced at 3 p.m.? Yeah, like right when the market opened. So I know gold had a drop earlier. I was looking at it earlier and people were panicking. Oh, gold dropped aggressively. But where did it drop to? Look at the most recent structure. Let's actually go to the what time frame is it? Okay, let's go to the daily. Mark up the most recent daily high that we are now breaking above. Maybe candle hasn't closed yet. And then you go down to the 4 hour, go down to the 1 hour. People were panicking earlier, and because gold was selling off. But where did it sell off to? Right, to retest the structure. And not only did it retest the structure, we swept this liquidity, and then we respected these lows. So your stop loss could have been any one of these lows, depending on how tight you wanted your entry. And then your entry could have been at either this structure or the sweep of these lows, and then putting your stop loss beneath the next candle low, or any one of these, just depending on your risk tolerance. And that was a solid play. And then price has flown pretty significantly from that area with no drawdown. So super solid, clean. I think silver.
I feel like gold is moving so fast. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe because I'm such a novice, I'm scared to get into the entry because I'm like, it's so high, right? But on like you see everything happening on the 4 hour.
Yeah.
Or you zoom in on like the 15-minute to get the entry, yeah.
Yeah. So what I did, I just marked this up on the daily, pretty much the structure, and you go to the 15-minute. And if you wanted to, really look at it closer, it didn't even give you any opportunity on the 15-minute. It just wicked into the zone. But if you look at this is all accumulation here. Like all of this is accumulation, because once we broke this structure, that marks the completion of the accumulation. So all this from here to here was like all buys. So when price came in there, you could have got in. Maybe you wanted to go to the 5-minute or even the 1 minute, but there was not really any time to really notice it unless you were really paying attention. But if you did miss that entry, there was other opportunities over here. Like there's more accumulation here. Once you broke above, these highs here. Once you broke above these highs. Once you broke above these highs here, you could have entered at any one of those points. And even now, it's working its way back down. We got some minor distribution in there. So price may go back down. It may go back down to these levels somewhere in here and then continue right there. It may sweep these lows. It may sweep this liquidity and then head up. It may fill this imbalance right in here and then head up. We don't really know. But if you want to have more confidence, if you want to be sure, wait for another setup to happen. Wait for another liquidity build up, sweep, break above. Once you see that, go ahead and place your buy limit. Entry at the top of the structure. Right there. Stop loss beneath the lows. And then you can put your partial out at the highs. Maybe you want to take partials at, these highs here. Maybe take some partials there. And then continue to hold a 0.01 runner to then take more partials or close out fully at these highs. It's really up to you, but this is a pretty solid play right there. Boom. If you get the accumulation down here, like if you get a confirmation, if you're just like, you know what, I believe in the structure that's already been given. I believe in the accumulation that's already been given previously. I'm just gonna go ahead and set a buy limit here at this level. Regardless if I see another confirmation, I'm just gonna go ahead and do a buy limit right there. If you believe it wants to go lower and you don't believe in taking it at these highs, then you can wait for a price to come even down here maybe. If it wants to come down there, like we don't know where price wants to go. All we can do is really focus on like what's happening with current price action. So we'll see what they want to do, but I believe gold is gonna hit at least 3K before it pulls back. It was projected to hit 3K already since last year. So let me put this at 3K so I can see. Oh, it's up there. Okay, yeah. So I wouldn't really. I know a lot of people are psychologically waiting for this number, so I think that's where a lot of people might sell off, just because it was announced last year that gold was projected to hit 3K, and it's been on a run. As you see here, this was major accumulation on the monthly. Liquidity build up for months, sweep, break above, retest, and then we got this big move. If you're ever wondering why is gold flying, it's because we had several months of accumulation, and then we swept liquidity.
2 years of accumulation.
Yeah, this was, yeah. It's over 1,000 days, gold is just here. That's like 3+ years.
3 years.
3 years of price just chilling. So the fact that gold is running like this, it makes 100% sense to me. Like it wouldn't make sense if it didn't do this. Like you mean to tell me you've been accumulating for 3 years and you're not gonna run? Nah, that thing's running. So definitely taking that. And then, you know, even with these highs, it took a while for price to break these highs. But this was the confirmation. We got that full body candle close right here. Once we got that full body candle close, you know that price wants to go higher. Doesn't mean it has to go higher immediately. You know, of course, price has to pull back. We don't know when or how, but okay, we got some pullback. And when it pulled back, if you go back to the structure here, we respected this structure right there. Almost got the retest, even left equal lows, right? People are like, oh, there's liquidity. It has equal lows. I want to see that get swept. We don't know if that wants to get swept. And it never did, right? I'm at 3 equal lows on the monthly. Price has not come back there, and it's gone. It's gone. So that's why it's important to understand that sometimes price does not care about certain liquidity. It doesn't have to go back to fill every imbalance and every liquidity point or smart money entry. Like there's imbalance here that's never been touched. Imagine there's people now probably still waiting for this imbalance to get filled, which, hey, you never know. It could. It's always open. All right, there's more imbalance here as well. Right, there's more equal lows here as well. Like you can mark this up forever, but we don't know where price wants to attack. All we can really focus on is what's happening with price action. What is current structure telling us? And the reason why I'm going to repeat that so much is because I spent years backtesting that. I spent a lot of time backtesting, okay, like what matters more? Like what's happening now currently, or like something that happened years or months ago that's going to affect price today? And what I've learned is it's less stressful and it's more important just focus on like what's happening. Yeah, it just does what it does. If you have a stop loss, no need to be worried about the lesson. It's part of the plan. Facts. Part of the plan. But yeah, that's essentially what gold is doing. Just waiting on that. I'm really looking at Nas though. honestly. Focus on her. So far, so good. I wouldn't mind taking some plays in here. If you're gonna be up tonight with London session, if you want to have a confirmation, we would need to break above these highs with a full body candle to complete the accumulation. We have a low, and then we have a high, and all this is like liquidity, essentially. And then we did sweep. When we dropped down, we swept beneath these lows, so we swept the lows, and now we have to break above the highs, full body candle to get that retest to continue higher. So if this happens as we're asleep, it is what it is. But if it goes lower and we have some time to catch it in the morning during New York session, that's also solid. And I know these lows are here, and I said sweep, even though it broke with a full body candle. But this is the 15-minute time frame. Maybe like on the hourly, it's a wick, or the 4 hour. Yeah, on the 4 hour, it's a wick. So technically, it's a sweep. On the lower time frames, it's always going to be a break of structure. But on the higher time frames, it's definitely a sweep. Even seeing this now, it was like right here. It'd probably be better to break above this high here, since this is a higher time frame high. I was on the 15-minute. Yeah, so I marked up these highs, but this would be the actual 4 hour high that we got to break above. So it'll look more something like this low to this high, and then the sweep. So this would be a more legit play to take according to the 4 hour time frame. So that's what I'm looking at for NAS. If we do end up coming lower, then I would definitely be looking in this area for some buys. And if you go lower than that, and we start going even more low, then this is last week's buys that got respected. Again, if you took the trade, I know a few of you guys like Brandon and Marcus and Alexis and Chris, I know y'all took these buys last week on Wednesday, New York session. And so price came right back down there, gave us another entry. And then if it wants to go lower, guess what? We have these buys down here too. Like I dare you to come down here. People are going to buy like crazy. This is
pending limits already set, or you got alert set, and then
I have alert set for now because on one of my accounts, I'm literally maxed out with trades. Like after 50 trades, you can't take any more. So I literally cannot take any more trades. And then I have like a separate account as well that I can add some more buys in if I really need to. But I'm not like pressed. I'm not pressed to just like throw money at the market right now. Like I'm already pretty good for like the next 3 months type shit. But do you know what caused the dip on gold? I don't know what caused the dip on gold. I just know that maybe someone said something, or maybe just the market. Like maybe people just took profit. It can be, some of these banks and institutions, when they take profit, that causes, major dips. But it came right back to structure. Like super clean. We have not closed beneath this, only wicks. So that dip on gold was to give people an opportunity who missed their original push to get in again. So we shall see. If gold wants to continue bullish, we definitely need to break above these highs. Full body candle. If not, then we may, attack some other lows. We have a low here. We have a low here. If you go to like, let's say the daily, I would always look at start with like the monthly and see like, are we next to any monthly highs or lows? Like this is too far down there. That's too far. Okay, let me check the weekly. Okay, this weekly low is plausible, but before we even get down there, we would have to, break beneath this structure. So let me check the daily. Okay, I see we have an imbalance here, a daily imbalance. So price may want to respect this. If it doesn't respect this structure, then I can see us sweeping the previous daily lows before continuing higher. If not this low, maybe this low. And if it wants to go lower than that, we have more structure here that price respected, right? Imbalance, we came back to fill it. Maybe it wants these lows as well, or maybe it wants to respect this structure. Like we don't know what it wants to do, but we see the levels. And once you see the levels, you mark them up, Then you zoom in to current price and say, okay, now let me go down to the 15-minute and check for that accumulation or distribution if you're buying or selling to get that extra confirmation. And just rinse and repeat. That's literally what I do every single day. Just rinse and repeat. And that's why it's important to just mark up your charts. Mark up the structure. Like structure is very objective. So like once you have the objective markup, you're like, okay, cool. I see this. This is clearly making, a higher high and higher lows. I have my levels marked up. What's price doing once it gets to these key levels that I have marked up? Are we making accumulation to promote the bias of bullishness, or are we making distribution, which is gonna break through the structure and maybe attack the lower structure or sweep the next liquidity? That's all it is. Just zooming in and out over and over again. It's like a doctor looking into the microscope at the cancer cells, trying to see like what's happening. But that's how I see it. I got you, Vic. Man swinging 50 trade I know it is. It's insane. That's my first time like maxing out the freaking thing. I'm like, what? It said error. Cannot take any more trades. I'm like, I haven't contacted support. Like, nah, like you're wilding. You have enough trades, brother. But it is what it is. I just got too excited. But yeah, man. You guys have any more questions? Or you guys pretty locked in? You guys gonna be on the call tomorrow? Let's make some money together. Let's get it. Let's make this another good week. I know last week was fantastic. Let's repeat that same thing again. Let's all do it together. Let's plug in together. Let's drop our markups. It doesn't matter if you're buying or selling. It doesn't matter. We have people who make money selling. We have people who make money buying. I'm just gonna be more biased on the buy side. I'm gonna personally promote that more on my end, but it doesn't matter if you have an opposing opinion. It does not matter. Money can be made on both ways. That's the beautiful thing about these markets. So let's get it. I'll see you guys in the morning. Let's catch a bag. Early bird gets the bag. So let's get it.